matches your enthusiasm. I've got a job for you if you're looking to keep busy. Here are the details.
I love that intro. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Soul Voices. This is episode 9. Today I have Nehkara joining me from Relay SC. Is it Relay SC or is it Relay.sc or how do you say it?
Yes.
We've known each other for how long now? We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, very long time. Oh man. Well,
2014, 2015? No, 2015.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, something like that. Yeah, I met you the first time in person at 2016 CitizenCon.
2016 CitizenCon.
Yeah, I think I've known you since like 2015 or so. Yeah, it's been 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. So tell me about yourself. You're with Relay SC. What do you do over there? And where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find us at relay.sc or Relay SC over on YouTube or on Twitter or anywhere basically on Twitch. And yeah, so we for the last like 7 years we have been streaming Star Citizen, writing about Star Citizen, covering the news about Star Citizen. For a long time we did like synopses of the week of the news and transcripts and all that type of stuff. These days we mostly just stream once or twice a week and chat about the game's development, and recently have taken to actually playing the game, which is like...
So what you're saying that Soul Citizen stole your jobs?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. No, we've been doing it for a long time. We do it because we love it. We don't claim to be masters or anything, but we just have a good time and hang out and talk about Star Citizen. Our show, Relay Station, is on Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. So you can join us this evening if you'd like.
Yeah, that's about 1 a.m. UTC for people in around other parts of the world.
Exactly.
And speaking of Star Citizen, this is Soul Voices, where we basically invite the audience to come in one-on-one and talk about what's going on in the industry and what's going on Reddit, Spectrum, and sometimes just regular news. So feel free to click that link down below to join us if you want to have them to chat about. Well, speaking of that, so I can talk about my week. Today, I'm still playing Marvel Revolution, and I have played some Diablo Immortal, but I'm thinking I might be over that. So maybe I'll pick up Diablo 3, but it's a lot of points, I think. How about you? What have you been playing?
I'm playing, so I'm still working on Horizon Forbidden West. I'm getting really close to the end of that game. Really, really love that game. One of my favorite open world RPGs ever. And I come like 90 hours in, something like that. And the other game I'm playing right now is a game I well and truly love, Crusader Kings 3, which is a 4X grand strategy game, basically building dynasties in medieval Europe.
Okay. Some niche games there.
Trying to take over the world.
Good old Pinky in the Brain. So let's get into it. So the first topic we have is there's no such thing as griefing. And this is by Hackbar over on Spectrum. So there's no such thing as griefing. Star Citizen is currently experiencing a terrible overpopulation and we need to do something about it. Every single PvPer who dares to kill another player is automatically labeled as a griefer, and that chat turned into a salt mine. And instead of seeking training, these individuals head over to Reddit to complain about the toxic PKers and such. You will hear arguments that PvP is not part of any functional game loop, that it's currently ruining other players' enjoyment, that it's poisoning the otherwise friendly community, or that it's even a sign of severely disturbed person. Sure, dying is not fun, especially in the final game where we actually have consequences, but crying that the reverse is cool is not the solution, especially not now. 3 months before the release of Pyro and Salvaging. People won't be standing in a circle, holding hands and smiling at each other in the lawless system. Hey, you don't know that. There's a lot of orgs that are purely PvP oriented and are training all day, every day to learn the fastest way to kill you. There are many veterans combat sim pilots coming from DCS, ED, EVE, and other games who are not interested in anything but dogfighting. I'm not sure what DCS is, but ED is Elite Dangerous.
I'm not sure what DCS is either.
And lastly, there are players who are already own ships worth thousands of dollars who will get bored by the implemented game loop pretty soon, especially if there's nothing worth farming for the currency for. Long story short, PvP is getting more and more important to learn than you might think. And those weapon systems don't shoot hearts and kisses. DCS is Digital Combat Simulator. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
I am by no means an experienced fighter pilot, and I am frequently on the receiving end of a laser repeater barrage. But I'm incredibly grateful that someone took the time to test me. And instead of rage quitting and crying over Spectrum or Reddit, I claim my ship and try again. Only through failure can you improve. I prefer to die 10 times than one tomorrow. I prefer to die 10 times today than one tomorrow. Okay. Don't avoid the conflict, seek it and learn from it. Getting shot at in the verse is not a result of griefing, it is a learning opportunity. And if you can't manage your frustration from losing a dogfight, you're about to learn and have a very bad time very soon. That was a mouthful. It said a lot. So let me get your thoughts first on that, Nehkara. What do you think? There's no such thing as griefing.
I mean, okay. There's a lot of there's a lot of like very definitive language used, which is almost always the sign of somebody who is overreaching. There is no such thing as griefing. Yes, there is such a thing as griefing. Not all PvP is griefing. Griefing is, attacking people in places where it's not appropriate, or repeatedly hunting down and killing the same player over and over and over and over again just because you feel like it. That's griefing. Or exploiting the game mechanics to some gross degree to kill lots of people. Those things are griefing. Not all PvP is griefing. I know that a game like Star Citizen needs PvP to be a healthy, MMO. And I personally don't do a lot of PvP in games, in like MMO games, but I know it has its place for sure. I don't know. For somebody who's angry about people complaining, this person seems to be doing a lot of complaining. And I just I don't know. I think, and also the name calling stuff is just, I don't know, ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's sort of where I come from. I take a moderate view.
I mean, in the very first sentence, you used the word Care Bear, and he calls it a Care Bear overpopulation. Yeah, and it didn't occur to me until you said something, but for someone who's complaining about people coming to Spectrum to complain, he came to Spectrum to complain.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, there is such a thing as grouping. I mean, I've always been a fan of consensual PvP, but I understand that that non-consensual PvP is part of gameplay, and a lot of games, and Star Citizen is one of those games. Call me a Care Bear if you want, but I don't think there's an overpopulation. I mean, way back when they did a poll about what career or prospect people wanted to take part in the game, exploration was number one, and combat was way down, at the bottom. And I believe that's still the case for any players coming to Star Citizen. Not as many. I think the combat. If you want to take the poll today, the combat will be still at the bottom, but it'll be higher than what it was all those years ago.
I think part of that is those other players moving over from other games too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that PvP is a natural thing in Star Citizen. But of course, like anything, it can be taken to extremes. There is such a thing as griefing. Everyone knows what it looks like. But, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like this person is taking a very slanted view of the situation while accusing other people of taking a very slanted view of the situation. It's kind of
and one last thing is yeah. One last thing I'll say is that well, not last thing, but I'll say about sometimes it is ruining someone else's fun because someone else maybe may not be in a combat ship and they get blown up. Especially say if you're a prospector, that's not a combat ship. You just out there to try to mine some ore and you get blown up for no reason. And that is not fun. Like the Hackbar said that, but I mean it depends on the situation.
There's going to be a lot of nuance to this as well in Star Citizen because we will be moving eventually to a system where blowing up ships won't really be the goal or the intended goal. It will be more disabling ships and like the time to kill will go way up. It'll be a lot harder to actually destroy a ship. And if you do intentionally just wail on a ship until it's destroyed, then there are people who are going to consider that griefing too, because it's not really the end goal of the conflict, right?
All right.
So it's gonna have a lot of layers in Star Citizen of complexity. And it should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and with that, so that's our opinion. Let's grab some other opinions. I was going to drag down the Pot Space, but I was beating to it. Hey, Pot Space, how are you doing?
Okay, how's everybody today?
Doing all well. Doing all right.
Good.
Okay, good.
There's no such thing by Hackbar.
Yeah. And it's good to see you again, Nehkara. It was fun watching you do the inverted Redeemer flip over.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it?
It was. I laughed. I had a good time watching that.
David had a great landing there.
It was. Okay. The griefing. PvP, I think griefing is when you do something, to me, and my definition is when you do something to a person to make them angry, to make them want to quit the game or cause them, like it says, it causes them grief. It's completely unnecessary. There's CIG is making things in the game to make griefing like a penalty. Like when we used to see pad ramming, we don't see pad ramming anymore. At least I haven't. So is that bad? Is that a bad thing when you just ram somebody's ship when they're trying to land at PO? I don't think so. If you want to PvP, go PvP. That's not. They're two different things, in my opinion.
So your monoline of consensual PvP, you can go to area where that PvP is going to happen. Like say Dumptown, you don't go to Dumptown expecting it to be safe. You go to Dumptown prepared for PvP, right?
Exactly. Go.
Like it's almost impossible to grief somebody at Jumptown. You know what you're getting when you go there.
Right.
Mhm.
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly. And it just the whole argument saying that there is none. So we're just supposed to be ramming each other's ships in Star Citizen right now instead of doing cargo, or I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get it, but so it just
I
sounds
mean,
like.
I think if you were to make a too long didn't read of this post, I think this person is saying get good at
Basically.
combat, basically.
But and that's another really problematic statement in and of itself, because a lot of people, first of all, don't want to do a lot of combat, won't be flying ships that are capable of it, and or just aren't that great at it. I'm not great at it. Like
Tell me about. I mean, if you come up against me, you're gonna win every time because I am not good at it, and I just wind up sitting there.
It sounds like we should fight each other, Pops. It'll be fun.
Oh man, we'll be there for an hour.
And a counter argument to that is Pop, just join an org where you PvP all day, every day until you get good.
Yeah, it doesn't help you if you're flying in Aurora.
Yeah.
you ain't killing
Hey,
shit.
I've seen some badass Aurora pilots. Okay.
Yeah. Roddy's a Aurora pilot. Hey, maybe I should get a ramming ship. That's
Hammerhead. Hammerhead.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. So thank you for that, Pop.
All right.
Thanks, Pops.
See you later.
All right. So with that, I'm going to drag down Face to Face. Hey, Face to Face, how you doing, man?
Hey, gentlemen, how y'all doing today?
Doing well. What do you thought? There's no such thing as griefing.
Well, that's a bunch of baloney. No, I mean there is griefing. I mean, like Pop said, and like you gentlemen also said too, that when you're going out, deliberately, to try to, cause somebody pain in the game, outside of the realm of profiting, like what is your end goal?
Exactly.
What is your end goal to disabling, blowing up the ship? Is it to just blow it up because I want to blow it up and I just like to see the world burn and like to see you in chat get mad? And
that's a whole different discussion. They're blowing up versus disabling so you can take that cargo. Versus combat. That's a whole different discussion. Yeah. So your thoughts is like, if you just blowing something up, that's griefing.
No, I mean, okay, well, I mean, you got to look at it too, though. If you blow something up, like deliberately, could there be an end game reason? What is your end game reasoning again? Is it to profit? Or is it to just make that person mad?
Especially that person does not have a bounty on them, or they're like I said before, mining on a prospector or something.
Right. I mean, it's all of these things that you got to really try to take into account when it comes to these discussions. I mean, I know it's really touchy with folks.
Yeah.
So but
I just realized that in Star Citizen you could disable a ship and then profit off of it by offering the guy a ride back to the space station.
Yeah, you could basically.
You know what? There you go.
That's some inner city stuff though. Like, hey, I just stole your car. You want to ride to the bus station?
Yeah. So what's your question, though, Fast Cut? What's up?
So let's say you're taking part in. I had the question in my head, but it slipped around, so I'm making up a new one. Let's say you're taking part in Xenothreat, but you decide to role play as a member of Xenothreat, so you're going to be blowing up everyone who's trying to help the mission progress. is that PvP or is that griefing? Because that's a PvE event, but people are trying to make it into PvP.
That's PvP. That's not griefing. That's just straight up role playing. I mean, because matter of fact, that happened to us. Yeah, I got mad, and at first I was like, oh man, people are trying to test this thing out, and so on and so forth. But when I thought about it, I said, you know what? It's a part of the game, and eventually it will be a part of the game where you will be able to, do things for criminal factions and stuff like that. So I can't sit back and say, oh my God, because it's not in the game right now that, it's griefing, because eventually it will be, and those players are just taking it upon themselves to implement a way to put it in the game right now. So I can't complain on that one.
All right. Well, thank you for that, French Space.
Of
I'm
course.
gonna feel free to come back for our next topic.
All right, definitely.
All right, I'm gonna bring down CC Creator. CC, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How y'all doing today?
You're doing pretty well.
Doing
So, what are your
good.
thoughts? There's no such thing as griefing. What are your thoughts?
So probably like everybody else, I think there is absolutely a thing as griefing. One of the things that people always say is, you just got to get good. You got to, learn combat and all that. But how many times do you hear a miner telling a combat person, oh, you got to get good at mining, or you got to get good at combat? So it's like, people, and then the other unique thing about PvP play is there is a dedicated game branch, Arena Commander, where you can go in PvP against, the game itself, or if people say, well, I like more of a challenge PvPing against a person, there's a branch of Arena Commander for that. So there's a dedicated section where this can happen with no consequence, but people still feel the need to come into the PU and force PvP play on people that are just out mining, or they got a couple hours, they want to do some cargo or whatever. That's the part where it gets, really kind of an unfair situation to me.
I'm going to give a counter argument to that one. Just me saying, you say people can join Arena Commander in PvP, but I mean, there's not many people use Arena Commander anymore. That's kind of like a not obsolete, obsolete basically a feature of the game now. Everyone is in the PU, so you won't be able to find players or targets or whoever or however you want to describe them in Arena Commander anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's a part of it, but the counter to that is that if PvP players that were strictly interested in that went there as their option, then and again, I don't have a problem with PvP play. I think it's part of the PU. I just have a problem whenever you see a person that's a newbie with a beginnership, or somebody that's out cargo hauling that just got that's out mining, just got a couple bulldogs on, and you're in a fully loaded out Sentinel. There's no challenge there for you. You might as well be fighting against AI, because there's no challenge in beating somebody like that.
And again, I'm going to push back a little bit, because sometimes this game is definitely skill based. So just because you might be in a ship that's fully loaded out, if you come up with a good experienced pilot in the other ship, it might be you might have bitten off more than you can chew.
I would say that could be true, but if you're in a prospector with two bulldogs, I mean, that PvP player has to be.
Oh, you said prospector. I thought you said something else. I thought you said a different ship. My bad.
Oh yeah. So just those ships that clearly can't stand their ground. No matter how good you are in them, maybe somebody can beat off a Sentinel in a prospector, but I know very few people that can.
Gotta break up that mining laser and go to town, man.
Right. So you can melt their paint.
Mm-hmm. All right, so thank you for that, CC Creator. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Bring down our last person here for this topic, and that'll be Kaizen. Hi, how are you doing?
Hello. How are you guys doing? It's great to see you today.
been great.
I'm looking forward to your opinion about this. What do you think? There's no such thing as griefing, Kai.
So, okay, first off, I strongly disagree with the statement there's no such thing as griefing. However, I think I might have a very unpopular opinion with regard to this subject. I feel that all PvP on an initial contact level is valid. I believe that players are content with other players, even if you're attacking somebody that is far weaker than you or attacking somebody that is attempting to engage in a different game loop than you. I feel that initial contact, 1v1 or even 5v1, as frustrating as it can be, and I completely sympathize and empathize with those people that are frustrated by it, I think it's part of the valid contact. It's part of the content that CIG intends to roll out. There are times where you are just trying to mind your own business and you get stuck up. You know, you're just trying to, run your hot dog cart or your taxi, and somebody pulls a gun on you and they're coming at you, and it sucks and it's not fun and it's not cool. But the rush of that, the rush of having a shipload of Quantanium and you see a new contact, and you don't know if this is somebody that's coming to spoil your day or this is just somebody who's doing their own thing. That rush is valid and good and fair. I think I believe that players are each other's contact, and I believe vastly in leaning towards the side of letting PvP happen. If you don't enjoy it, I apologize that you have a frustrated experience. I get it. And I'm not saying it feels good. I get it. Where I differ from the statement of there is no such thing as griefing is I feel that griefing absolutely can occur on repeated contact. So if somebody kills you and then comes back to farm you and kills you over and over and over, the first contact is PvP. It's fair play in my mind. The fifth or sixth time they're farming you, I believe that does constitute griefing. And even initial contact can be griefing if there are external factors that lead you to very clearly see that this is a situation. If somebody's messaging you and they're saying, fastcart, I hate Soul Citizens, I hate your stream, or it could be something, it could be, I hate black people, or me, I hate Mexican people, or I hate men, or I hate trans people, or I hate whatever. There is definitely things that people can say in chat or indicate that shows that they are not valid PvP at that point. Anyone who targets someone based off their race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, if they are, even if it's an initial contact and they're doing what would otherwise be, in my opinion, a valid PvP kill, if they have hate speech or something that accompanies that, I think that very clearly is what I would entitle griefing, and I think that CIG should take action against that.
Normally they do.
Yeah, not having that though, on just, hey man, I was mining, some shit went down, I'm unhappy about it. That, to me, I get it, I sympathize, but that's just part of the game, man.
I think piracy is not griefing.
Absolutely,
I think piracy is PvP. And it's gonna suck, and it'll be annoying when you have all your stuff stolen. I have 2 questions for you, if that's okay. If you don't mind me running with questions here, fastcart.
Go ahead.
So I have 2 questions. So, things like pad ramming or exploiting bugs or game mechanics that aren't working properly, would you consider that griefing?
100%. That is not incidental contact. That is not valid PvP. If I'm attacking you while you're on the pad and unable to whatever, CIG has clearly stated that that is against their rules and that they will take action against that. If you engage in any activity whatsoever that is specifically banned by CIG, I think you are now moving into the territory of either griefing and or exploiting, and either one should be, actionable.
Sounds good. I agree with that completely. And the other one was, so I talked about this earlier, but we're moving towards, or at least we're supposed to be moving towards a game where it won't be very common to destroy a ship, It'll be much more common to disable a ship.
Mhm.
If we're at that point and somebody does take it to the point of actually purposefully blowing the person up for no reason other than they feel like it, is that griefing, or is that just this person likes to blow ships up?
So again, I could see that being very frustrating, and I could understand someone being angry about that, but I would consider that a valid option of play. And I think that there are ways that you can, within the framework of the game, disincentivize that, where you can say you have a fine of, you know,
$8 million UEC.
you have a fine of 200,000 AUEC for attacking and destroying this ship as far as like disabling it. But then now you have an additional fine and a crime stat and some other action taken against you for the act of murder. I think that that's a game loop that should be addressed by the company. But I don't think, because you have situations where it's like, hey, look, we're freedom fighters. You are a mercenary organization that is encroaching on our turf. We do want to kill you. Like, that's actually what we want. And that's, again, first time or PvP contact or whatever. I feel like you let the game system handle that in the rules. If it's a situation where that's accompanied by some form of hate speech, or on the 18th time that you've murdered me, that's a different situation.
All right. Yeah, that's
That makes
fair.
sense to me.
Well,
Thank you for that, Kai.
Absolutely.
Great conversation.
Great to see your beautiful face on here, Nehkara. Good to meet you, brother. Have a good one, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, cousin.
All right, so that was a good, spirited conversation, as you like to say. One last thing before we get to the next topic, I do want to say that the way the game is now will not be how the game will be when it's launched. So even though, even though, you know, I think when the game launches, people will be more mindful and have like an escort and protection. But now, since the game is in alpha, that's not really necessary now. So I think combat will take a different form when the game launches. Actually,
Yeah,
But,
I'm actually really looking forward to that evolution of the game into more of a in the evolution of combat into more like targeting ship systems and disabling, and it'll bring a lot more gameplay along with it. A lot more options.
Yep. And don't forget, if anyone else wants to join, if you click that link down below to join us in Discord. So we'd love to hear from you. So, next topic is the biggest bug of all, Toxicity by Red. Former Red? Okay.
All right,
Kuma
I'll
Red.
take this one.
Go ahead. Go for it.
I think that's Chimera Red
Thank you.
with letters and numbers. So the biggest bug of all, Toxicity. As with all bugs, this affects all players, but none more so than beginners. I just started about a week ago, and already I have discovered that I really can't trust anyone. There have been some players who have been very helpful, but this pales in comparison to the seemingly vast majority of players who just want to foul your experience. It doesn't stop there. To add insult to injury, more often than not, I see these people encouraging you to quit the game. When trying to find support, I am met with more of the same: foul language, mockery, and very cutting insults. Now, try this out for size. You just entered the PU for the first time, and you realize that there is so much to learn, but you are excited to take this challenge on. It's a little slow going at first as you learn the basics, but you are starting to get the hang of this. Just as you think you have almost figured it out, some bugs start to challenge your newfound confidence. Bug after bug, you realize that there is more to learn than you originally anticipated. Yeah, it sounds like Star Citizen. After the first dozen or so, you learn to accept these as just another part of the experience. After only a few days, you get hit with a big one. All your credits are gone. All those hard-earned credits vanished into the vacuum of space. Time to start over. Days go by, and you finally have enough to purchase a full load of Laranite, which you painstakingly gathered for hours. You're almost there to your delivery location, and all this work is about to finally pay off. What's this? Someone is shooting at me? Down I go with all my cargo. My oppressor is in global chat, bragging about his recent victory, and everyone is giving him a pat on the back. Why did you do this? I ask. Because I wanted to, he responds. When I tell him that was everything I had, he laughs, says, tough shit, kill yourself. Wow. That got dark real quick. Nobody rallying to my support, just more of the same cruel words. To be honest here, after working so hard to get to where I was and to have lost everything, that toxicity was probably the biggest blow to my morale. I wondered if I should even continue. That was just one example. There are many more, and I've only been playing for 1 week. I'd say probably the most consistent issue is just the corrosive talk in global chat. I often just hit F12 and ignore it. The biggest issue with this, by and large, is that all of this goes unchecked. Tell me, how does this support the development of Star Citizen? How many other people have quit the game for the same reason? I'll tell you, it is hard enough to get started in the PU on its own. With these toxic players, it's almost impossible. Or it is impossible. At this point, I would like to give a shout out to all those players who are there to make this a better place for everyone to enjoy. You know who you are. Thank you. Your kind support will not be forgotten. What's the solution here? How does one stay invested in this? What is RSI's response to this issue?
Oh, that's a mouthful. Yeah.
It was
Thank you for reading all that.
It was 7 mouthfuls.
Thank you for reading all that. So what do you think? What's the solution here?
Well, first of all, I think this person had an outsized bad experience, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
I have not heard a lot of this type of experience joining Star Citizen. Most of the experiences I've heard about have been like people were very helpful and it was good, but I mean, I feel like this person is definitely on the outskirts of the bell curve, if you know what I'm saying. I'm sorry they had a bad time joining the game. I do think toxicity is a huge problem in gaming in general. I don't think it's a Star Citizen thing.
Yeah, exactly. Especially PvP games.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I just think that, and there was some mention of this in the Spectrum thread as well, but on the internet in general, and this goes for gaming and YouTube comments and Twitch comments everywhere, you have to just sort of learn to filter out the morons.
Thank you for cleaning it up. I appreciate that. Yeah, and also like that person just said, hitting F12 and just ignore it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I usually do if there's somebody in the server being stupid.
Right. Oh, you can just change servers if possible. Sometimes you're out in space, that's difficult. Yeah.
But you know, it obviously people should behave themselves, and if there's anything really serious and like the specific thing he said that this guy said, tough shit, kill yourself, that should be reported to CIG. That's not appropriate speech for anybody. And mostly the second half of that. And you know, this topic's always hard. Everybody knows how they should behave, and then yet still there's some people who just seem to not figure it out.
Anonymity is part of the issue, yeah. All right, so we're running a bit behind, so I'm going to drag people down. Let's start with our Kaizen this time. Hi, welcome back.
Kaizen.
Hello, hello. All right, I'll make this quick. Sounds like fastcart's roboting. Maybe it's just me. All right, I'll make this quick. First off, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Clearly, the biggest bug in Star Citizen is killer elevators.
Agreed.
All joking aside, I agree 100% with Nehkara said. I feel like, number one, I don't in any way invalidate this guy's comments because I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened. And absolutely, on the internet, you can find asshats. You just can, and it's unfortunate. My experience with the Star Citizen community has been so very much the opposite. I have had people, when I first started, the very first time I started, I typed in the chat, hey guys, I'm brand new. I just got this game. This was like in 3.11 or whatever. I was like, I just got this game. What do I do? What or whatever. And literally somebody said, like, where are you at? They took time. They showed me where to go, what to do. I had the absolute best experience. And literally the guy like talked to me for a little while and then he was like, hold on a second, sent me like a friend request or some kind of something. And then the next thing I know, he's like, check your balance. He had like mailed me $1 million from the little money trader or whatever. Like my experience with and I've done that, you know, I may have taken advantage of a little bug that they had in the game and made $60 million during Invictus doing some trades. And I've given away like $38 million of that just to rant. Like people are like, hey, whatever. I'm like, here, buy yourself a Star Runner. Have fun. Like my experience with the Star Citizen community has been that it is the farthest thing from toxic, period, with one exception. And this is something that I don't know this guy's experience, but I suspect it. If what you're finding is you're getting a lot of toxicity from global chat in Star Citizen, and based on what he was saying before of like, man, I had this bug, I had that bug. If what he was typing, if he was putting out in chat was chumming the waters with a lot of super negativity towards the project of like, this sucks, these elevators, blah, 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 this, that. And if you're shitting on Star Citizen, and I completely understand people being frustrated with the alphaness of this project. It will bug some people more than others. But if you're shitting on Star Citizen in global chat, I think you're chumming the waters for people to throw toxicity back at you. I'm not saying that's what happened here because I haven't seen the chat logs. I don't have context, but I just think that his experience is so far different from any experience I've seen in general that it makes me a little suspicious of you know, either A, it could be that he was just incredibly unlucky, in which case, man, I'm so sorry, that sucks. Or it could be that there's more to this that we don't see. Because the one thing that I will fault the Star Citizen community on is there are times where you can find a little bit of toxic white knighthood of like, how dare you fairly criticize my baby? You know, so I think it all to me hinges on like what was put out there. But I don't find that overall, with the one exception of, like I said, toxic white knights who will not allow you to make your own sort of observations if they're not 100% positive. And I say that as someone who loves the project. But yeah, that's my feeling. But I cannot say enough how anti-toxic my experiences, and I can only speak to my experiences, have been.
I
love you guys.
For 7 years. It's hasn't been toxic in my opinion, but you know it happens from time to time.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to comment, Kaizen. The elevators currently terrify me. Every elevator I open, I look inside it before I get in.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Is there an elevator there?
Well, that one isn't even. Let's be honest. That one, to me, that's not a bug anymore. That's a feature. That's just, are you paying attention? But the one that kills me is you call an elevator, you're standing 5 feet back, and when the elevator arrives, it knocks you through the station and to your death. That, like, dude, come on, man. That hurts.
The elevator is griefing. That's the biggest problem at all. No.
Toxic, toxic elevators. Later, brothers.
All right, I like it.
Thank you for that, Kai. I appreciate it. Let's bring down Pot and Spades. Pot and Spades, welcome back. And don't forget, anyone else who wants to join in, please feel free to join us. Click the link below. So, the biggest bug of all, toxicity. What are your thoughts, Pop?
This is like we said, this is a big bag. So obviously I'm not going to try to touch on everything in this big bag. It is an alpha. The elevators are real. I mean, you got to press the button and you got to run back to your ship. But it's an alpha. That's all that's all I can say as far as that's concerned. But yeah, you just got to try to get in there with a good group of people. I'm more of an introverted person. I don't really, so you know, this is really a game that I first really came in, and I've met a lot of people that I've grown close to. So maybe that's one of the things he needs to do. Maybe meet some really good people, join an org, or just meet some people. He doesn't necessarily have to join an org, but at least meet some people that he can talk with and call on for some help from time to time.
Well, here's my thought. I think that Invictus Week brought a lot of new people in. Like according to the crowdfunding spreadsheet, it was 110,000 new accounts made during the Invictus Week. So we see a lot of new people who are just trying to experience the game, and see a lot of people who might have returned who have experienced the game before and have experience and taken advantage of that. So this, I don't doubt this person's experiences. I think it probably happened the way they say it went down, but it is a shame, and I think it might get worse before it gets better. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to get, I mean, especially when server meshing comes in, it's going to be a whole different set of bugs and things for CIG to tackle, because it's going to be new. It's going to, it's going to interact with, I don't know, water bottles will just start killing us. I don't know.
Fire hydrant. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So we don't really know.
Hydration.
Yes. We don't really know yet. So we just have to be prepared, go in, do what we can, get them the data so they can see it. They can, work on them and meet a couple of people and have some fun at the mistakes. That's all I can say. Just try to have some fun in between the frustration.
Yeah, especially if you find a good org or people you can hang out with. That helps a lot.
That's true.
All right, thank you for that, Pop.
All right,
appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, gonna bring down 50 Phase. 50 Phase, how are you doing, man? Welcome back.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna give my my 2 cents, if I will, from my coming into the game experience. I remember when we first came into the game, we looked at some YouTube videos to figure out how to make some money and stuff like that. And we found, okay, the quickest way to make some money, fast in the beginning is to go do the investigation missions, excuse me. So we hopped in Aurora, me and my pops, and we went to go do the investigation mission on one of those moons over there, Aberdeen or whatever. And some player blew up my ship. I remember clearly. We're in a cave, and all of that sudden, I hear an explosion. Boom! And I'm like,
"Are you sure there wasn't anything that you did that and instigate that? You didn't do anything first?"
No, I mean, because I'm literally, we're in an Aurora. We're not thinking about combat. Seriously, fresh into the game, and somebody blows up the ship. I immediately jump on chat. You like, you blew up my ship. I'm like, but then, I thought about it, from my own experience, that what happened afterwards, was that we went into, I think, the Star Citizen. I think it's not the official. I don't think Star Citizen has an official Discord. It was a Reddit Discord or so. We went into there and we met some good people, so on and so forth. And that's how we actually got into our org from there. So I would suggest, for situations like this, yes, like you said, you're going to come across those things, and I did see somebody say in the chat that F12 is a great feature in this game. Because I use it a lot. Because as a matter of fact, in other MMOs, I rarely pay attention to chat.
Right.
Because chat is a cesspool, literally. Like,
or it just popped up people getting rewards that you'll never get.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things for me. And I would say, as a suggestion, in addition to the Star Citizen Reddit, I don't know how it is nowadays, but go and sit down and watch some Twitch streamers. and do your homework with this too as well. Do your homework. Sit down and watch some Twitch streamers, and and find some of them that that are into the game, that do some content and stuff like that. Ask questions. See if they may have a get together that may help out good players, and stuff like that, and really go from there. Because there are a lot of good people that are out there that really want to enjoy the game with other people.
All right. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Agreed.
And didn't write it correctly. There you go. So yes. I think that's it for this topic, the biggest book of all, toxicity. There's a lot of good ideas and good suggestions. S12 is probably your best friend here, but also it's joining the org or joining a community and finding finding a non-toxicity can really save your sanity in this situation, I think. But it's a shame that if that's your first experience, then it sucks. All right. Don't forget, if you want to join us, talk to us. Click the link below. Click the link live to go live with us. We appreciate it. But we always appreciate everyone who comes in to talk to us too. So don't be shy. We don't bite. Next up, we have our question from our topic from Reddit. So this question is ship career result by Dawn Stealer. Ran a poll a few days ago asking people what role they saw themselves playing when the game goes live. Most of this is a concern I've been having lately about crew on bigger ships. Even ships with comparatively small crews, like the merchantmen, fighting for the moment, will have a hard time filling these roles if everyone wants to be a pilot or captain of their own ship. That turned out to be well-founded, but two things. Number one, this was only responsive to 300 people, a good cross-section, but hardly comprehensive. And number two, this also doesn't take into account people responding to fully planned to be solo pilots in small ships that could reasonably run without a crew. Ships roughly kind size are smaller. Still, I have a feeling that a lot of people who will be dipping into NPC crews to fill out the rosters where 65% of the people in this poll wanted to be pilot, captain, or both of their ships. So what do you think, Nehkara?
See, this is an interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, by the way, we do have the poll results on the screen. So, like 39% want to be captain, flying one thing. 10% want to be captain, but not a pilot. Won't fly things, just run things. 15% want to be pilot, not a captain, just want to fly, not run thing. And then everything else below that is non-pilot bridge crew, non-pilot ship crew, and marine. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nehkara.
So this is a really complex issue because it's hard to know where we're at right now, whether this is actually going to be a problem or not. There's a couple things I have to say about this. I don't think people know right now what they're going to end up doing in the game. Because once these things are live, situations that develop, all your buddies are going onto a ship and they invite you along and you end up being their engineer and you find out you really love engineering and then you are an engineer now and that's something you do a fair amount because you like it. A lot of these mechanics and gameplay systems that Star Citizen is planning to have just don't really exist in many other games, especially multiplayer games. And so I think it's hard for people to say, hey, I want to be a ship's engineer when they don't really know what that looks like. They've never played that before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's also say I want to do science when the science gameplay loop is not even in the game. We have ideas from
and what does that mean? What does do science mean?
Right.
So we have to see what that's going to be. I think another thing is a lot of people will do more than one thing. Like, let's say 50% of their 60% of their gameplay is that they do captain their own prospector. And that's what they do. But the other 30 or 40% of the time, they are, the comms officer or the scanning officer or the science officer on their friend's ship. Like you're not gonna be one thing,
Right.
all the time. And so I think that plays into it. But the other thing is, this is kind of on CIG. They need to make those other roles in those multi-crew roles in ships interesting. They have to be appealing for people to do. And that there's two parts of that. So it's on CIG to make the gameplay interesting. For the ships that can't find a crew, it's very important that NPC crew mechanic work well, and be very fleshed out. And the last thing is that it is also up to ship captains or ship owners to make it worthwhile. People won't want to do this stuff if they have to play for 3 hours and they get 0 credits out of it.
Right. Or 602 credits, right, Fist? Speaking of Fist, I'll drag him down right now.
So those are my thoughts about it.
Thank you. So Fist, you want to do a whole bunch of work and get 602 credits?
You know what? That ain't happening. Yeah. That ain't happening.
What are your thoughts?
Somebody getting robbed. This is something. somebody gonna give me my paycheck. Something. But I have to agree with what you said though, Nehkara. I mean, I'm gonna reference this to another game that I've been playing recently, Mortal Online 2. And recently, from what I understand is that if healers or mages, when they would their main focus role is to heal other players in the game, and when they go out and you go and kill certain NPCs, you would get clades, and these clade points are very valuable to your character in order to level up. And try to be real quick with this. Healers would not get, or those mages would not get credit, even though they're healing the players that are fighting those NPCs. So it's kind of like I'm doing all of this work. I'm one of the most important roles to keeping this person alive, but yet I'm not getting anything for it.
Problem.
That's a big problem. That's a big mechanic problem. It's a big problem. And I do agree with you on this, that CIG has to make these careers not just interesting, but important.
Yeah.
And there has to be a reward for engineering. There has to be a reward for even, the security on the deck. Even though, when you think about security, I mean, probably you have to say there's probably 8 to 10 times out of the time of security being on the ship. How much of a gameplay are they going to run into somebody trying to board your ship? Especially if you're out in dead space somewhere. You know what I mean? So,
people are going to have multiple roles.
Right. So, I mean, even exactly. And I look at it from this point of view that, if I'm running, for example, if I'm running an Orion, and Orion has, those several, stations, and even if your security on the ship, I would like for you to know at least how to operate those other stations, not just be a hired gun. Because let's say if XYZ goes down or something goes down, real life happens. Hey, can you jump in and fill in this role?
Yeah, and Griffin like to use this example. Suppose you have a fire on your ship, you're going to need people to know how to put the fire out.
Exactly. But, to your point, I really want to hone in on that, that CIG definitely has to make it rewarding. They have to.
Between CIG making it rewarding to actually play and the captain making it rewarding to actually like give the person something,
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I mean that's and again that does come down to the mechanics of the game too.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to put it into the captain's hands to hand out the paychecks, or is it just going to come down to the mechanics of, you know, okay, well, you've done this XYZ amount of time and hours in the work, and you get paid this amount, you know, of a salary. You know, so it's, you know, I like you said, it's got to come down to those mechanics. That how are they going to do it? We don't know yet. I don't know, but we'll see.
Well, this is why Star Citizen's not coming out in like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, no
Exactly.
kidding.
But
Real quick
once they're in
question
beta, they got a lot of work to do to get everything sorted out before
Right.
we go there.
Exactly.
Real quick question before I let you go. So,
Mhm.
what do you see your role as? Are you a pilot, captain, or are you going to be like
To be honest,
you're going to be a crew?
for me, I'm kind of like a jack of all trades. I'm the type of person when I go into an MMO or, you know, especially something like this, I want to know everything about everything. I'm not saying that I'm going to be good at everything, but I at least want to know about everything. You know,
Right.
I'm the type of person who'll sit down and try to figure out all the nuances of each role, how the way this works, just in case if I'm ever needed to be, you know, that next, I'm kind of like my mentality is next man up. You know, if you need this role, then I know how to be in this role, you know, because you're not going to be this person every time.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
Yep.
that.
No problem.
Dragging down Cotton Face. Cotton Face, how are you? What are your thoughts?
Oh, let's see. Well, first of all, Nehkara, you're absolutely right. We don't know what it's like. We have no idea what everything is going to be. We don't know what engineering is going to be, how flushed out that's going to be. So my hopes in the game, you know, one of the things I hope for in the game is that CIG finds a way to make the game generational. And what I mean by that is, you know, you have kids, and you know, you can incorporate them. Let's say one of your kids has a, you know, interest in science. So I hope they make science gameplay enough for, you know, to get that kid's interest in the game. Some fantasy, some realism involved in it, so they can use it to learn and so on and so forth. Things like that. But we have no idea what science is going to be like. Exploration, at least, you know, you bring in the kids and they, you know, get to explore with you. You can make it a family thing, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know.
You know what? It's interesting. Science is one of those careers that we have had almost, it's been mentioned many times, but we have
Right.
almost no insight into what their plan is for that.
Yeah.
I think
And you know what? You know what the
not in 2015 with the Endeavor.
and,
Yes.
and I'm pretty sure they're not sure either right at the moment. But I think Tony Zervek has a plan, but we'll see how that goes.
He always had a
Exactly.
plan. He Tony Z.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Uh,
as far as for me, a career path, we talked about last week, toilet game, you know, that I'm going to be the janitor. I'm going to supply the toilet paper or whatever they have in the 25th century.
All right,
And,
all right,
that's what I plan on doing.
all right. Appreciate that.
Anything needed.
Thank you for that, Pop.
All right.
thanks, Bobs.
Yeah, and what you said earlier about people may come in with a certain plan, but that plan may change as you learn more about the game. When I first came into the game, I knew I wanted to be someone who shows stuff that I got measurement, but also I thought I'd be taking part in racing a lot more. Like I thought I got a Mustang Gamma for racing, and I thought I was gonna upgrade to the 350R or maybe M50 for some racing. But after seeing how in depth and how core racing is going to be in this game, I like, nope, that's not going to be for me. Other people are going to be way better than I am, so that's not for me. So yeah, the plan change. So
Yeah,
up next we had. Go ahead.
No, I think that people are going to occupy a lot of niches, and it's honestly, it's one of the coolest things about the plan for Star Citizen is that there will be a lot of things to do. Maybe one day you don't really feel like mining for that day, and there are a lot of other things to do. So even the exploration, like the fact that they actually plan to have real exploration in the game is pretty awesome.
Right.
That is what I'm the most excited for, and I can't wait to see what they actually have in terms of the details of the exploration gameplay. But yeah, I just wanted to say I think that's part of the magic of Star Citizen is that there are a lot of options.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And this is our last topic coming up. Don't forget, if you want to join it, click the link below to pop in and chat with us. So this one is from Gamerant. YouTube has built a $30,000 Star Citizen themed gaming room. A YouTuber and a fan of Cloud Imperium Games Star Citizen has a gaming room custom built to resemble a futuristic spaceship from the game. And the link is in YouTube chat, so thank you for that. And there's a video accompanying it. Yes, have you taken a look at this, Nehkara?
Yep, sure did. I watched most of it. And it's insane.
Yeah.
I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing if I had $30,000 that was burning a hole in my pocket. But that's not where I'm at. So.
Yeah, me neither. And this room look dope. I think that's the not the right
not the right video.
Yeah, I don't think so. Video. I'll put it in streaming alert.
That's pretty funny.
All right. So yeah,
guys, give me a second.
Once we get the video up and running, people will see this is a dope room. Like, I wish I could have a room like this, but there's no way I could ever pull this off.
Yeah, guys, give me a second. I'll get the video queued up. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, it's a great looking room. But yeah, do you have the? Do we have it? Basically, a successful Twitch and YouTube content creator are known for spending their earnings on inevitable things, and this is one of those things that they've done. In February 2022, a study showed how much Twitch money streamers earn.
Here we go.
And this is what he's spending money on.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
สวัสดีครับผมแบงกี้ครับและในที่สุดนะครับ
You can mute it too.
วันนี้ก็มาถึงนะฮะกับการรีวิวยานอวกาศลำนี้ของผมครับ
It's 8 minutes long, okay?
Yeah, so yeah, we talked during this. Like, check out this room, man. It's like it had the origin feel mostly. What do you think?
Oh, it definitely has an origin feel. I think this is just amazing. Those screens at the front there are 65-inch TVs. So he's got 3 65-inch TVs. The built-in console there is a 49-inch curved gaming display. It just like. Yeah, if I just had infinite money, I would definitely do this. This would be awesome.
Right. Or have any amount of money on, well, not any amount of money, but yeah, infinite money would definitely have to be enough. You got the Crusader logo all there. Like, I don't know how much what is involved in making this, but this is pretty dope.
There's $900 in LEDs in that thing. Just LEDs.
Right.
It was in the article.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh man, just crazy.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's doing it.
It would certainly be immersive.
Yeah. I think that's not the case. That's too immersive for this one.
Also, I like that he's taken the Star Citizen style and he actually has a kitchen set up in his spaceship.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. And it's all touchscreen too. Oh my god.
That's insane. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring Fix Space down here so he can watch and talk with us about it.
Please.
Oh, oops.
Yes.
Hey, Fix, how you doing?
How are you? How are you?
What do you
Doing
think?
great. We all want money right now.
Yeah, I do too. You know, hey, listen, 30K. Look, I can't complain about this because, you know, for me, I'm in the audio field, and I'm gonna put it to you like this: yes, things, equipment that I buy, are for my work, but at the same time too, it is for play. Like, I know guys that have racks full of hardware where you don't really necessarily need to have that hardware in order to make good music, but they do have it because they want to have it. You know, like a Fairchild 670 could cost you 50 grand, you know, just one piece of equipment, you know, but a lot of these guys are collectors. So hey, listen, more power to you. If it makes you happy, you got the money flow to do it, you know, have at it, enjoy yourself, you know, Star Citizen. Hey, you know, I'm just gonna put it to you like this: just make sure you don't spill nothing on there, because you're gonna be mad as hell.
Yeah, I definitely. The all white was an interesting choice. It wouldn't be my
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
sure
because
no drinks and food are allowed in this room.
Well,
unless it's just on.
Well, you know what? You're right, because you make a good point, because you know what? Being that it's all white, and not just that he actually has the food or you know, drink, but touching the walls, because over time you just touching things. Guess what's going to happen? Dirt's going to accumulate.
How much does it take to keep that place clean?
A lot.
Big buddy.
If you have 30 grand to spend in this room, you have enough money to hire a maid, right?
You know what? And you know what? I'm gonna kind of throw a little jab out here. Sorry, Griff. You know, but since it is kind of Origin-ish, so hopefully it won't burn down. You know, like Origin. If it does, because it's got that fire extinguisher there. So, you know.
I hate to tell you this, but he based it around Crusader, just so you'll know, not Origin.
Oh, that's right.
Crusader,
You know what?
yeah.
I forgot. You know what?
It
You're
is
right.
based on the Hercules cockpit, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it is. Oh, really? Okay. You know what? Then hey, there you go. That's cool, though.
It still looks
Still
originy a little.
It does. Yeah. It did. Because, you know, if he would have thrown some red in there,
yeah, it needs more red.
then it would have really give it that distinguished, some red and some gray. It would have give it that nice thing. Red, gray, and black. There you go. Well, he's got black in there in a little bit.
He's got black on, so that's probably what he's thinking about. But yeah, they have the Crusader logo on the door.
Yeah, but I mean, if you didn't see that though, real quick, I want to get to other people. But if you didn't see that, if you're just looking at the video itself, if you would have put some red and black, and maybe you put some Crusader logos in there, it would have been even better. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know, that's my 2 cents. There you go. He can always still do it. He can still do it. There you go.
Yeah, you got the money. Thank you for that, Fist.
Of course.
Thanks, Fist.
So yeah, we're gonna watch another 3 minutes of this, just to get his the experience. But yeah.
ตัวจอนะครับผมเป็นจอทีวี65 นิ้วด้านหลังนะครับเพื่อจำลองเป็นเหมือนกระจกของยานอวกาศนะครับผมจริงๆมันเหมือนหัวสโนว์เพเซอร์กันนะเอาจริงๆ
Man, it'd be so immersive with the huge TVs all around you.
มอเตอร์ไว้ก่อนเป็นรางสไลด์นะครับก่อนที่จะขึ้นโครงยานลำนี้คือขั้นตอนแบบซับซ้อนมากเอาจริง
Also, the automatic door.
ติดก่อนทำฟ้าตัวนี้ผมใช้เป็นแอร์ติดแอร์ฝั่งนะครับ 18,000 BTU ใกล้หัวเลย
At 18,000 BTU to this
แอร์ตัวนึงก็ 50,000 กว่าบาทแล้วพอประกอบทุกอย่างเสร็จปุ๊บนะครับผมเขาก็จะพ่นสีครับเขาลงสีให้ทั้งหมด2 หรือ 3 วันนะครับไม่แน่ใจเสร็จปุ๊บก็นั่นแหละครับผมเริ่มเขาเรียกว่าติดตั้งไฟไฟนี้นะครับผมไม่รวมอยู่ในบิวอินนะผมซื้อแยกต่างหากนะครับ
I hope he has insurance for all that.
ตามซอกตามหลืบตาม
LTI yeah
ไฟอะไรนะครับผมเดี๋ยวผมจะรีวิวให้ดูอีกทีหนึ่งนะครับผมจะพาเดินรีวิวเลยนะครับโอเคพอประกอบเสร็จทุกอย่างปุ๊บนะครับก็จะไม่มีห้องลิฟต์นะมันจะมีแค่ห้องนี้แหละเดินออกไปก็เป็นห้องสตูเปล่าๆเลยมันไม่ใช่อ่ะถ้าเกิดเราถ่ายคลิปใช่ไหม มันจะต้องมีฉากเดินเข้ามาในยาน
Look at the outfit too, man.
ที่เป็นห้อง
I know. He's got the spacesuit and everything.
มันต้องมีห้อง
And the helmet.
ห้องเชื่อมยานกับยานเข้าด้วยกันแล้วก็แบบมีคนมาหากันอะไรเงี้ย
You could actually have one for his money.
ลิฟต์ในเกมให้เขาดูอีกทีนึงอันนี้ก็เป็นห้องลิฟต์ที่จำลองมาจากเกม Star Citizen เหมือนกันนะครับผม
There's a Crusader logo.
There's the black and yellow there.
ค่าใช้จ่ายทั้งหมดทั้งมวลนะครับที่ทำบิวอินห้องนี้ขึ้นมานะครับเฉพาะตัวยานนะครับอยู่ที่ 400,000 บาทครับผมไม่รวมลิฟต์นะครับลิฟต์อีก 60,000 ตีไปเลย 60,000 รวมเป็นเงิน 460,000 บาทแล้วนะครับค่าเครื่องครัวต่างๆอีก 50,000 บาทครับเป็น 510,000 บาทค่าทีวีอีก3ตัวละ 60,000 นะครับมีส่วนลดอีกก็เป็น 150,000 แล้วก็จอมอนิเตอร์เป็นจอเครื่อง
Oh, just the
Oh
3
my
TVs.
god.
จอยาวของซัมซุงตัวนั้นเนี่ยน่าจะซื้อมา 20,000 กว่าบาทหรือ 30,000 นี่แหละ จอยสติ๊กสำหรับเล่นเกมซิมูเลเตอร์ต่างๆนะครับอีก 65,000 บาทครับ
I hope you got sponsorship.
50,000 บาท และสิ่งที่ขายมาได้นะครับสำหรับจะมาประมวลผลต่างๆนะครับที่ขึ้นมาบนจอนี้นะฮะนั่นก็คือคอมพิวเตอร์นะครับที่ประกอบใหม่โดยเซาเบย์ครับผม
Oh, that's a nice PC.
Yep. And into the advertisement.
Yeah.
200,000 หรือ 300,000 ไม่แน่ใจ
That was a very nice PC.
เอาง่ายๆคือ 200,000 กว่าบาทเพราะว่าช่วงนั้นการ์ดจอ
This guy really likes
$1,000
white.
PC. Almost a $7,000 PC.
Wow. He has a 3090 in there for a long time recently. Those were $2,500 just by themselves.
ทั้งหมดบนยานใน30,000 บาทครับผมทุกคนทั้งหมดนะก็โอ้โหล้านหนึ่งอะเป็นล้านเลยยานลำเนี้ยโอ้โหหัวเนี่ยมันโดนมาก่อนเลยโอ้ของแต่งต่างๆอีกล้านกว่าบาทเดี๋ยวผมจะพาทุกคนไปเดินดูรอบๆยานนะครับว่าตั้งแต่หน้าลิฟต์เลย
From the lift. Now, is this an actual elevator?
Not sure. Probably. All right. So I'm gonna bring down a popping face so we can talk about this. Pop, when are you gonna get it set up like this, man?
What? The only thing I have that he has is the Philips lighting strip.
Hey, for
Did you
some of
spend
us, that's all you need, right?
Did you spend $900 on yours?
No, no, no. He's making me forget what I want to say every time I'm looking over here at this. But you know, I just have to wonder. He probably only has a Mustang. After spending all of the money on this, he probably only has a Mustang starter pack.
No, he has a Hercules. That's why he that's why he designed it that way.
Okay. Well, no, this is really cool. If you enjoy it and you and your friends are having fun and y'all, this is real true RPG done to the max.
Oh yeah.
So, yes, my hat is off to you. And that's all I'm gonna say.
This is space LARPing right here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Nehkara. I was thinking about LARPing just now, but I wasn't sure.
Space LARPing. Space LARPing is a lot more expensive than just getting a sword.
No kidding.
And an outfit. Yeah.
This is cool. This is really cool, though. All right,
so
I'll let y'all. Yes, thank you.
Pops.
Okay.
Thanks, Pops.
All right, bring down Kai's in. Kai, my man, what do you think?
Hello. It's awesome. So that wasn't a real elevator. When they were showing the build, they showed that they were building it in his garage.
Okay.
So that's like a simulated elevator, airlock, whatever you would want to call it, because it's all just on one floor in his garage. I love it. The best thing about this entire segment is that when the commercials popped up for Griff's computer for his YouTube, the commercial was Clean Origin. That's on brand. I dig it. I love his jacket. I love that he has NASA. He has two separate NASA logos and a Dogecoin little patch. So yeah. This is not at all what I would build. I was a bouncer at a strip club for a while, and that kind of lighting gives me massive headaches. I could not deal with it. But like, I love the just the creativity, the fact that people like this guy's a streamer, so I mean for him I guess it is sort of a business expense. He's clearly, you know, there's
is it a tax write-off to get all this stuff? I don't think so.
I mean, if you're a streamer and you're putting it down as, you know, these are expenses for my whatever. I mean, who knows?
Studio.
You also have to keep in mind he's Thai. He's talking about how much everything was in bot. So he's living in Thailand. That's a whole different system, man. In Thailand, you have. Thailand and Mexico are very similar. It's not like America. In America, you have like there's a much more of a middle class. In Thailand, you have much more of a system like Mexico, where like you have the really rich and the really dirt poor. And for the people, like when I was living in San Antonio, Texas, you would have Mexicans come across all the time. And it's like the ones that you saw that were coming in, like legally coming into America on a quote unquote shopping trip. These were like millionaires that were looking down. They were walking around in the malls with Prada bags and, you know, whatever. They were, you know, in $90,000 cars and whatever. So like, man, I guess that to sum it up is like, who, you know, people do whatever they do with their money. And this is very cool, very creative, very interesting. I dig it. I think it's, again, not to my taste, it's a little too bright, but like that big curved screen that he has, that was the one thing that I'm like a little, I think that curved string where you guys were like touchscreen, whatever, that's the Samsung CH90. That's what I'm looking at right now watching you guys. That's my primary monitor. It is not a touch monitor. So I think he was just sort of LARPing as him hitting buttons and doing, I think that's, yeah, I think that's just a predefined screen. I'm not aware. I mean, Game Glass you can get for Star Citizen, and you could put, you know, he could set up a couple. I think you could at most get like 2 iPads that you could have running on separate whatever. But like, I don't. But still, it's cool. It's super cool. So I dig. See that right there? You saw him building it in the garage with his friends. I think it's just really neat. So hats off.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not. It's not my intention to make fun of him. If that's how came
No.
I apologize, but I'm super jealous, envious. I wish I could have something like this, but there's no way I could afford this for one thing.
Yeah, I didn't take it at all that you were making fun of him.
No. I'm just saying that, you know, not because anyone said that. I want to get to the car.
Oh yeah,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I feel bad for the life of that 49-inch curved gaming display just being a, you know, set of blinky lights.
Yeah. Hey, he can, if it goes bad, he can just get replaced.
And he definitely I mean, seriously though, when you look at that, it really does do a lot to add to the immersion of the, you know, of the experience. So if you if you were to just look and see, because I mean, like I said, I'm staring at that exact same monitor. So if I were to just tilt that down and say, hey man, what if that was all just gauges and instruments and whatever? You are living in nerd heaven right there. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would be really cool if, and I know that there's no obligation for CIG to do this, but it'd be really cool if there was a way in the future to tie in via like an API or something into the game, and actually display real stats from your actual ship. And I mean, Game Glass shows a hint of that. Mm-hmm. So it'd be really cool if you could have like a more customized outlay like that was actually coming straight from the game.
What if they were to allow for a, like you said, if they were to just basically have APIs that pulled, so maybe, you know, you had 2 game glasses that were actual touchscreens where you're entering in data, but you had a big monitor screen that isn't a touchscreen. It isn't for control, but it's for contextual information. And you had it just permanently set, you know, one screen permanently set on a map, one screen permanently set on a Mobi-Glass, one screen like permanently set on
That'd be so cool.
A lot of flight controls or whatever, indicator readings and all of that. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
And everyone would be getting
I can't get over that.
Buy like six like 1080p monitors and setting them up so they can have like.
Oh yeah.
Buy one big ass monitor and you be done with it, because you got you still have to drive all those with a video card or two.
Yeah.
Two indeed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Fantastic
Thank
show,
you for that,
guys.
Kai.
Thank
Later.
you.
Appreciate it. All right. So that was a great way, excuse me, that was a great way to end the episode. So I just want to thank you
Definitely.
again for being on the call. To tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me on. This is a lot of fun. One of our main homes, twitch.tv/relay_SC. You can also find us at relay.sc or at YouTube at relaysc. Yeah, we just love to chat about Star Citizen, kind of like this. You know, we have Relay Station coming up this evening, and every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern or 1 a.m. UTC.
Thank you for that. I just want to remind everyone tomorrow we'll be having a episode of Soul Citizen. I'm gonna say the wrong title. Soul Citizen tomorrow, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight UTC. We have to talk about the Starjump Fleet War, and we're gonna have Starjump Grim as our guest on tomorrow. So check us out for that. On Thursday, we have our Soul Talk series. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC, where we talk about what's going on during the week. Mostly we cover ISC and Miss Cinema. And we'll come back again next week for another episode of Soul Voices, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC, where we talk about what's going on in the community again, but just talk about Reddit, Spectrum, and the industry in general. So thank you for watching. I guess that's it. Nehkara, any final words?
No, I'm just glad to be in this community with all of you. You're all awesome, and I had a great time chatting about the game today.
Me too. Thank you.
Fastcart. Thank you, Griffin.
No problem. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to support us. You can follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or what have you. So Citizen with the S. Don't forget to check out merchandise. You sell t-shirts, game pads, cups, mugs, what have you. That's basically on our, I think on our Twitch channel, but it should be in the description below also. And there's a whole bunch of ways to support us. And thank you everyone who subscribed. Thank you everyone who followed. We appreciate it. Thank you. And with that, I just want to say peace, love, and soul. Take care, everybody. Bye.